Greg, hey, well, glad you could make it today. Thank you for being the first, well, I won't say my first guest because you're a co-host, so you can't say first. I guess you can say first guest, right?
Exactly. You could phrase it that way, I guess. So,
Okay. So, well, I'm glad we're able to link up and sort of start this podcast because working with you lately, I been able to understand how great you are at what you do, and I'm good at what I do, and the network of people that we're surrounded by, it just makes total sense to be able to offer some services to business owners and to entrepreneurs. So, and using this format, I thought would be an excellent way to do it.
right.
And
And I appreciate the opportunity. I'm excited about doing this. Video is something new for me. So I'm excited to try it and see how it works out. But most importantly, I'm excited about doing this with you, tying in and diving into really your expertise, what you've done through your life, how you've helped small businesses, um, how you function as a business owner, and just learning from you. So thanks for the opportunity to join you today.
Well, absolutely. It was a no-brainer, man. After seeing you do what you do for the podcast for our business, but also for the podcast that you've been on, the live podcast. You're a natural, man. So it was like a no-brainer. And plus the way the production, everything you do behind. I was like, I had to get you on, man. I would have been lost without you. So.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm learning. I'll be honest with you. It's a learning curve. You and I are both a little long in the tooth, a little older than most people. And
Right.
so, this whole diving into new forms of media, be it podcasting or doing videos now, it's stretching us. It's stretching me personally, stretching my comfort zone. But at the end of the day, it's worth it because that's how you cut through the clutter. That's how you grow, and that's how you keep from becoming stagnant, is by trying new things and doing new things, excuse me, and seeing where that leads you. So again, I appreciate the opportunity. I'm excited about doing this with you, and I can't wait to see where this leads us.
Absolutely, man. Well, I appreciate you being able to do it with me, man. It definitely means a lot. I definitely look forward to many more episodes from this point on. I've always been an entrepreneur by heart, so
Right.
even at a very young age, man, I was like, what really got me into it. We have a farm up there in Mora. We had a farm, and I used to. We had cows, chickens, horses, pigs, goat, you name it. We had it all. Big old garden, the whole bit. And so that I was a farmer, and I used to sell eggs after church every Sunday. And I used to take our chickens used to probably lay about 4 or 5 dozen a day. And so I would go to church and sell them. And finally, after a while, I had a whole notebook full of people. Hey, next week bring me some two dozen. So I already had my list of people that I would sell chickens to. And then I got a little bit older and I couldn't do that anymore because I have a cousin doing that, and I really didn't want to sell chickens when I was in high school. So I started cutting wood and started selling cords of wood. In fact, I have proof. I don't know if you can see that, but I have a big old scar.
Okay.
I got a chainsaw that went through and I had 75 stitches. I was upstairs. I was up there cutting wood during the summer and in my junior year. And so I've always been an entrepreneur by heart. And so, every time I got into a business, whether it was mortgages, whether it was fitness, whatever business I went into, I sort of tried to figure out how it worked and then did it myself. Even when I graduated from Highlands, I was in production. I opened up my own production studio while I was still in college. And then, so every company that I've gone to, I've learned the system, and then the entrepreneur in me made me come out and I started my own company. So in that same industry. So, I've always been an entrepreneur by heart, a business owner, and had some great success stories. And I had a couple of bad failures that really took me down under and I had to recover from. So coming up with this format and being involved in the company that we're involved with now has really allowed me to share my experiences with others. And not only my experience, but show them ways of not doing business, but also doing business. In other words, instead of trying to figure it out yourself as a business owner, I knew certain things on how to run my business, but the back end and really operational and really scaling my business and trying to use everything I can to maximize my effort, I didn't know. I thought I did. I would always talk to people, what I use here, what can I do here, what can I do here, and get everybody's input. and I would do that, and sometimes it failed. So now me being able to be exposed and have a network of business of minded people that can actually help out business owners and entrepreneurs scale their businesses through technology, and business people that are trying to open up their businesses now, being able to use me as an advisor to sort of help them game plan and try to save money off the beginning instead of going in there and buying stuff that they're not going to use, has really changed the game. And that's where my heart is now. So yes, I'm entrepreneur by heart, a business owner by heart, but now I'm in the game of really helping people take advantage of the technology you and I have been blessed to be around and been engaged on a day-to-day basis. So I'm excited to be more of an advisor, of a coach now, instead of me being the business owner that I was before. So that's just my story. I'm born and raised in New Mexico. Oops, hold on one second. I thought I turned my phone off. Oh, it's coming through my computer. I don't even know how to turn that off. Every time I get a call, I have it on silent. It still goes through my computer. So I got to. Yeah. I'm going to have to call you to show me how to turn that off.
Okay. But, no worries. Hey, it's interesting. Yeah, one of the things you touched on, and I wanted to follow up with that, is, one time you owned a gym, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. I had 2 gyms.
Yeah, 2 gyms. And as part of the role as an owner, I imagine when things were starting out, did you do a lot of personal training?
I did.
Right. And what do you feel is the role of a personal trainer?
The personal trainer, I think you really you have to find out, every time I talk to somebody, I would really find out where their pain was. Where are they struggling with? Mentally, not physically. I mean, if it was losing weight, yes, but why? And I would really try to figure out what was the reason behind it. Because everybody's like, I want to lose weight. Okay, I want to lose weight because my daughter's getting married. Okay, but really, she's getting married. You want to look good for the wedding, but why do you want to lose weight after that? You want to keep the weight off. So I would really dig in and find out, tap into them, and be honest with you, a lot of my clients afterwards got emotional because they didn't know you could tap into those. Once I tapped into those emotions, then I would build a plan to work around that to keep them motivated, but to also see that they can actually see the vision of where they were going. So they didn't only have a workout plan scheduled for them every single day, but they had that vision and they knew what they were looking for. And every time they would quit or try to quit, I would either text them, email them, call them, or send them a Facebook message, something to motivate them and tell them, hey, remember this, remember that. This is just temporary. You talked about doing this, you talked about doing that. So that, as a personal trainer, was really touching into their emotions is what I would do before I would even attempt to train them. And sometimes I turn down clients like, I want to lose weight, I want to look fine, I want to get all buff and big. And I was like, okay, well, let me send you over to so-and-so to help you, because it just wasn't a good fit for me. And
right.
I really touched into their emotions. If I knew I could help them emotionally and I could help them not only now, but I could actually help them 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, they can hear my voice in the background. That's what the people that I would train.
Right. It's interesting. You hit a couple of things I just wanted to follow up with you on real fast. Mm-hmm. You mentioned, really trying to determine the why, the emotional reason, the why someone wanted to lose weight. And I know in the business world, and a lot of what you do and a lot of what I do is when we meet with potential clients or we're talking with them, we're really trying to understand, first of all, the why. Why do they do what they do? Right. What is their purpose? What is the pain that they're experiencing? And then from there, you mentioned this idea of putting a plan together and motivation. And as I think of this podcast, this video podcast, and as I think of what you're trying to do and what we hope to accomplish through this, I really see those 3 elements coming into play, because the reality is business is hard. Business is brutal. Business is rough. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have a strong enough why do I want to start this business? Why do I want to start this company? Right. And beyond the superficial, but really peel back the layers of the onion and get to the core of what it is, helping people understand that, helping them put together a plan, right? And say, hey guys, this is what's worked for us. This is how we failed, taking and learning and sharing our mistakes and our victories, as well as those that we interact with and talk to on this podcast. And then last but not least is this idea of motivation, that hopefully people come away from, these, 12, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, however long they spend with us. They come away with that inspired and motivated to move forward, because you can have a great why, you can have a great plan, but if you don't take any action, it's useless.
Right.
And we all need that motivation at times. We need that push. We need that that kick in the pants, for lack of a better term, to get us moving and get us doing what we need to do. I think back when I was playing basketball, and I hated my coach at times. I absolutely did. Or playing baseball, I hated our manager.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, they would motivate us as, in athletics to do more than we currently were.
Right.
That's their purpose. And in some ways, I see what you're trying to do and what we're trying to do here is to do that for small to medium-sized businesses, or beyond that, just anyone with that entrepreneurial mindset.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Again, help them understand the why. Why do they want to do this? All right. From there, okay, let's put a plan together. Let's help you put a plan together. And then from there, hey, this is the motivation piece.
Mm-hmm.
We'll help motivate you so that you can stay on task.
Right.
But unless you have a plan, you can waste a ton of time and effort just kind of wandering around. So you need all three of those elements really to be successful.
You do.
And that's what's exciting about this. So
you hit a key point is getting that plan together. And what I've noticed is when they put that plan together, you don't realize how much more you can give, or how much you actually have, how much ability you have. And I'll go back to the personal training. I was a personal trainer's lady that was over 350 pounds. She hadn't been down over 250 pounds in probably 30, 40 years, she said. She was like 47 years old. So since she was in high school, and she couldn't see how she can get down there. We got her down to 204 pounds.
Oh, wow.
But what happened was she didn't know she can run. She didn't know she can jump. She didn't visualize that she can do this. And I told her, what I want you to do is follow all these plans and make a goal, a visual goal. Have it on your phone, have it on your computer, put it somewhere where you can see it every single day. And I said, trust me, it works. And in fact, it works for me, because lately I have goals now, but when I moved back to New Mexico, I didn't have any goals. So I was scattered everywhere. And the minute I put my goals up on my chart where I could see everything, I start pointing out things. So, for her to be able to accomplish that, she couldn't visually see it, but being able to have that why and have that motivation and continue progressing and consistency, she starts seeing what's available. Her confidence totally changed. Not only her confidence, but she got a new job. she got another. She worked for another company, a promotion. Her income went up like 3 times as much as she was before, just because of that energy. So
right.
It's huge. That's huge. I think you hit a key point, and finding their why. I think that's a great way to help out people here on the format that we're at, because that's huge. Find out the why and creating that plan, and then attacking that plan. So. Yeah,
exactly. And it's interesting because you mentioned goals. Okay, let's talk about goals for a second. And I think a lot of times people set goals, but they don't really have a plan in place to help achieve those goals.
Right.
And even like, for example, the client that you were talking about that you trained, right? She lost, what was it? How much did she lose? 150 pounds?
Almost 150, like 142 pounds.
It didn't happen overnight.
Right.
It happened over, I imagine, 1 year, 2 years, however you want to look at it. But you put a plan together, you had these goals, but there were baby steps. And I know, like, for myself, I did like an 8-mile run one time, like a race.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't wake up that morning going, I'm going to go run 8 miles today.
Right.
That it took several months of training. It took several months of going out and running regardless of the weather. If I was running if it was rainy, I was running in the rain. If it was windy, I was running in the wind, doing what I needed to do to follow this plan so that I could help meet my goal.
Right.
Right. And again, and I just think that's so important, because I think a lot of business owners, they have goals. We all have goals. I think at times we set these goals, be it realistic or unrealistic, but then we don't put the plan together, right, to achieve that goal.
Absolutely.
And when I worked for, Franklin Covey, who I worked for, just a short period of time, is right during their merger. But when I worked for Franklin Covey, one of the things that we always talked about was this idea of beginning with the end in mind. And what that means is you look at, okay, what's that target on the wall? Where do you want to get to, right? What is that goal? And then from there, you work backwards, right? And you put those, okay, these are the incremental steps I need to take to achieve that goal.
Right.
Right. And so regardless of what it is, regardless of it's, hey, I want to start a business. All right, that's your end goal. Okay, let's back up from there. What are the plans? What are the steps you have to take to be able to start your business? Mm-hmm. Or, you know what it is? I am in sales and this is my quota. How do I achieve my quota? Right. Okay. Well, let's start there and let's work backwards from there. What are the tangible, measurable things you need to do to be able to hit this quota for the month or for the quarter or for the year? You know, even with, you know, the company that you and I are working for, and you and I worked on putting the marketing and sales plan together for our sales force, right? To say, okay, hey, this is where we want to be, right, at the end of 2019. So what do we need to do between now and then to achieve those goals? And we backed it up and we put measurable steps into place in order to achieve that. Right. And again, I think that's such a key thing. And you did that for your client. But I think a lot of times business people, we get so wrapped up in the busyness of day to day, you know, we're putting out fires everywhere. We're reacting rather than being proactive. Right. We're being reactive. And we fail to put our plan into place and to follow the steps in our plan to get us to our goal, to get us where we want to be.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I mean, you had a key point, man. It's like getting, you know, having an end point, where you want to get to. Because even during that process, you're gonna, you know, it's not gonna be straight up. You're gonna have zigzags all the way up. Mm-hmm. But as long as you remember that vision and you have that vision of where it is and you have that goals written down, it makes it so much easier to get through that. Like you said, putting out those fires. There's going to be fires. You know that. We put out fires all the time.
We do it all day long, it seems at times.
You know, but we're not like scratching our heads like, oh, what's going on? You know, we're not frustrated because we know the bigger picture. We know where we're going to go, and we know there's just little hurdles that we need to get over. Mm-hmm. And how do we fix those so we don't have to go through that again? And so we cut off that little road so we can move a little bit closer to our goal. And I think that's really key when it comes to business owners. Like, you have to have that, and knowing that you have to have that. We all as business, me myself, I have my mentors that help me. I mean, I have to keep me accountable. You know, I don't think I know everything even right now. Even when I reach out to help other businesses, I talk to my mentors and talk to my network to see, hey, you know, I talk to you, you know, hey, what about this? What about that? Because we have to talk about that in order to make sure that we're going in the right position. I don't have the answers. I don't have all the answers. And I think as a business owner, once we realize we have this goal and you put the people there are going to help you trim up those sides, and so you can have an easier path. It makes it so much easier, and you save a lot more time too, a lot more headaches, and I think that's the goal here, is to really being able to show entrepreneurs and business owners that, hey man, we know for a fact you don't have the answers. No one does. No one has all the answers. Mm-hmm. If you find those people that really can give you even a little nugget of help that will push you back in the right direction, is so important. And that's where I think a lot of business owners are lost, because they are caught up in the now. They're caught up on turning all the fires, and they forget about that. But if they're in those fires, they can have us come knocking on the door and say, hey, you put out those fires, but don't forget about this. How are we going to get you back on track? What do you need help with to get you back on track? You know your big plan. Stop wasting your time, your energy on continuing doing this. Let's fix it and move forward. So yeah, that's huge, man. Coming in, make sure they have that vision, and then figuring out how to get there, how to climb that hill.
Exactly. And you know, I think the idea of having a coach or having a mentor or having, you know, just someone that is outside of your organization that can kind of give you that true, honest feedback is so important.
It is.
You know, because when you get around people that, you know, coworkers or family members or someone, you know, close to you, that someone that's not on the outside, they're going to feed you information a lot of times that you just want to hear. Mm-hmm. You know, because it's human nature. No one likes to make someone mad. No one likes to insult someone. No one likes to tell them, hey, you're going the wrong way. You're doing this incorrectly. And so that's why it's important to always find, you know, this mentor, this coach, from outside your immediate sphere of influence.
Absolutely.
You know, someone that can look at what you're doing and look at your plan, look at you, and do it objectively.
Absolutely.
And provide you the best counsel, the best wisdom, the best advice that they can, not necessarily having to wrestle with, you know, the interpersonal dynamics of an established relationship, you know, whatever that might be.
Right. That's very important. I think, you know, even when it comes down to trying to figure out how you want to grow your business, you don't have all those answers. So being able to reach out to others that have no idea what you're doing. And I'll give you a great example. With our business, you know, it's been a struggle trying to build a sales process on how we're going to present what we do, because it's brand new to the industry. And people, we were getting doors closed on our face right away because we know how to deliver our message. So I would reach out to businesses that I knew and say, hey, I'm going to run this by you. Give me your feedback, you know. And I would just say, hey, this is Wilton. I'm a diversified. And I go into detail about what we do. And they say, well, I don't really understand it. What don't you understand? And they'll give me their feedback on everything. And so I just start checking those off. Okay, I'm not gonna do that, go that route. And then I'll go back to them. What about this? Boom, boom. Oh man, that sounds solid. Now I understand what you're talking about. So I reached out to people that weren't even in our network, but that wanted that can use our service. But I use them as my people that I knew, so I can at least be able to clean up my presentation and be able to deliver that presentation to our team, so they can go ahead and execute that as well. So absolutely, I think it's so important to have those important people that have that, not only this way, but experience-wise. If you're going down a certain road that you think about going down, find someone that's gone down that road, and then they'll tell you what not to do. You know, we have some agents come in now saying, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. So don't do that. If you do that, you're going to spend more hours wasting your time. You know that. We told people that on our team. Well, I'm going to think about doing this. Well, if you do that, it's not going to work. We did that. So don't go down that road. And sure enough, you know, if they gone down that road, they found out for themselves. And if they didn't go down that road, they excelled a lot faster. So absolutely.
Oh, definitely. But at the same time, I will say this though, that, you know, at times you have to take the road less traveled. You have to go down that path that no one's gone down before. You have to try to do something completely different and see where it leads you.
Absolutely.
Because if, you know, and that's the beauty of entrepreneurship. That's the beauty of innovation, is trying something different and seeing what results you get from that. And you know what, you win, and you win some, you fail some. I think one of the biggest problems we have in our culture today is we've forgotten how to give people permission to fail. And what I mean by that is give people the permission to try something, see if it works. If it doesn't work, you know what? You pick yourself off, you dust yourself off, and you just move and you just try it again, or try it a slightly different way. But you know, we live in the society now that's all about security, and it's all about safety, and it's all about these different elements, and people no longer feel that they have that permission to fail. Well, that's what entrepreneurship is. I mean,
you're right. You have to fail in order to succeed. You have to feel the pain. You have to be able to go through all that to succeed. And I totally agree with you. And I think if you find people that have that experience, so that you won't go down the same path they do, but then use your vision to be more creative of what you want to do. And you know that being what we're doing, because no one's gone down with our path. So we have to basically build the road ourselves. You know what I mean? But having that help to sort of be able to present a little bit better, and then use our creative minds and our creative juices to be able to take it to a different level is what we're doing. So I think finding that help that you need to sort of get back on track, but then being creative, and having the opportunity to fail, saying, okay, if I fail, where am I going to go from here? Having that already in your head, it's like, okay, if this doesn't work, what happens? Okay, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go all the way back. It might take me a day or a week back, but at least I'm not going to be hurting that bad, because I'm taking a risk and following the path that they gave me, but I'm using my creative vision to be able to take it to a whole different level. So.
Right. But to do the post-mortem when you do fail and say, wow, okay, that was a train wreck. What did we learn from this? What did I learn from this? right? And you take that, what you've learned from it, and then you apply it, and then you're able to take more risk, but you're able to take actually more educated risk because you've learned from your past, you've learned from your mistakes.
Absolutely.
And again, that's just one of those key elements that I think, again, we live in, for some reason we live in this world, this society that for the most part pushes against that and tries to mitigate as much risk as possible rather than encouraging it and embracing it. But when you look across history of innovation, innovation doesn't come from those that play it safe.
It's exactly right. Exactly.
Innovation comes from those that have this why, this passion, whatever it is, and they've got this plan in place, and they're going to try, and they're going to try, and they're going to try, and they're going to fall over, and they're going to get back up again, dust themselves off, bandage up their wounds, move forward again and again and again, and repeat that cycle till they finally get that breakthrough.
Absolutely.
You look at Steve Jobs at Apple.
What's that?
You look at Steve Jobs at Apple. Now, he got fired at one time in his career, right? But then they brought him back in, and then look what he built before he passed away.
Right.
He revolutionized, not only did he revolutionise the computer industry, he revolutionized the television industry as well as the music industry.
Right.
I mean, and he was fired by his company. He was fired by Apple at one time.
Right.
But he learned from that, right? And he learned from his mistakes. As brilliant as he was probably one of the most arrogant human beings, if you read his biography,
right,
that existed, but yet he had this purpose, he had this why, he had this mission, and he was able to, like I said, he was one of the great entrepreneurs of the last, 200 years in my mind. And look what he's built today. Apple's worth over $1 trillion now.
Right.
Or bordering right around $1 trillion. I think they lost last week. They lost below $1 trillion, but I think they might be back up again above $1 trillion.
That's right.
Just amazing if you think about it.
It is, and the same thing. Look at Facebook, MySpace. It was called MySpace, wasn't it? It's called MySpace. That one before.
MySpace. Was the thing, and then Facebook came along, and then
they took it to a whole different level.
Right.
And so, and we all have that ability. We all have that ability to take that to a different level, as long as we have that vision of where we want to go. And you're right. I think we're playing it safe as a nation. We play it safe, and I think that comes with not people wanting us to fail and fall on hard times. And they said, hey, if you go this route, you'll be safe. Your family's gonna be safe. You're gonna make good money. You're gonna be able to do this, and you're gonna be able to do a good life and have your weekends off, or whatever the case may be. By not playing it safe, you're taking those risks to sacrifice all that, because later on down the line, you'll be able to enjoy even more, be happier, basically. Long story short, be happier. So, I definitely agree with you. In order for you to be above the rest or to stand out, you can't play it safe. There's no way. I've never seen a successful person play it safe. Not that I know of. Not even on the smaller level, businesses that we talk to now that are $100 million business or $50 million business or $1 million or $100,000 business. They have, if they're growing and they're being successful, it's because they didn't play it safe. They took risks. And they were, like you said, they were educated. They were educated risks that they took because they knew exactly how it felt to lose or to fail, and they don't want to go down that path. So they prepare themselves for the next failure, but always work on succeeding, if that makes sense.
Right. And there's a difference between taking risk and being reckless. And that's an important thing to keep in mind as well, is that when we talk about taking risk and stepping out and trying something that's never been done before and having that, or, be it starting your own business or whatever you want to look at, however you want to address it. There's a difference between taking risk and being reckless.
Right.
And we're not advocating in any way, shape, or form being reckless. Being reckless is, I'm going to do this, and I have no experience. I have no mentors. I know nothing about this industry or this field. I have no money, right? I have no plan. I'm just going to do it. That's reckless. Mm-hmm. That's not taking risk. Right. And there's a difference between the two.
I think in my earlier years, I was reckless. I've been reckless before. And you're absolutely right. It never either I failed or I bombed right away, or didn't even ever get off the ground because I was reckless. In the minute I sort of start creating a plan. I didn't even know what a business. I was like, why do I make a business plan? I know I have it all up here. I know what to do. No, write a business plan down. Get your game plan together.
Mm-hmm.
And now I get it.
Right.
I got it because of my failures. So how much time do we have, man? I want to make sure that we're just going off and talking, which is great. And I think our audience really needs to know exactly what we're doing and what we're all about. Mm-hmm. But our next guest that we have on, we're going to be on there. We're going to have we already have about 4 or 5 people lined up ready to come on board in the next week or two. So we'll be getting those together. But it's going to be five questions, a conversation, business talk. That's what it's going to be called. Anything before we end? Is there anything that you want to add or anything you want to talk about before we go?
No, I mean, I think we've covered it all. I think we've given a good overview of what we hope to accomplish, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about interviewing our first guest and really hitting these 5 questions. And guys, I hope if you're watching this, that you come back and you join us again, next week or so when we get this next one out, and we hit this thing running and show you what we're thinking and how, this community of learning really can help impact your business regardless of what it is.
Absolutely. And not only that is that we're going to get better and better at this. Like I said, this is my first time ever doing something like this. And, just getting outside the comfort zone and being in front of a camera, I've been doing that for the last month. It's been getting me a little bit more comfortable with doing this. But we're going to get better. And we have some guests that are really, truly helping businesses, helping individuals around the world. So it's not like we're just going to pull people out of their hats and pick them. These are people that we want to bring on board because they're making a difference in other people. And I think that once if they can at least help you guys out in some way or give you some ideas in a way where they can be able to inspire you or help you advance in your business or your career, that's what we're doing this for. And we're definitely looking forward to the next episode. So I think we'll be having another one. Hopefully, as time permits, we'll be able to have one at least once a week. We'll keep all of them down to about 15, 20 minutes. This one probably went a little long. I don't even know how long it went, but it was important because I wanted you to know who I was. I wanted you to know who Greg was and who you're going to be working with. And this is going to be big. We're going to make this thing big. So we want you to share this with your friends, share it with your colleagues, jump on here and just listen to what our guests have to say because they're very knowledgeable and they're going to make a big difference in a lot of people. They already are. And we're hoping they can do that to you as well. So Greg, my partner, man, I really appreciate it. I'll probably end up calling you about business here in a while anyway. So do you have anything to finish? Anything else you want to say before we go?
No, like I said, I think this was great. A great first run, a great start, and we'll see how this thing evolves.
Awesome. Well, guys,
all right.
Until next time, we'll see you. Thanks a lot for joining.
All right. See you guys. Thank you.